judge, you'd be the proper person to call. But the fact that a judge would think, because parent counsel is under the same umbrella, that they could affect what attorney was going to come into their court or not, is that not at least a potential and perceived conflict, if not an actual conflict?
We'll probably agree to disagree on, it is if something happens as a result of it.
But that's what we have, we set up the barriers that we set up where we have conflicts.
I don't tell them a lot of times that judges call. So nothing happens. If there's an issue with an attorney and they need to file a complaint, we have had legitimate issues where, for example, attorneys not showing up in court. That's an issue that needs to be dealt with. We've had an issue like that needs to be dealt with. But just because a judge calls, are you asking me in and of itself, is that a conflict? I'm going to have to say, I don't believe that is, just because the judge calls. It depends on the nature of that call and then what you do with that call that I think makes it potentially a conflict.
And I believe that, again, I'm not an expert. The judge calling is not a conflict. The fact that what they're complaining about is something that could be affected in that umbrella is the potential conflict. And I think you can see how anyone else would see that would be a potential conflict. The fact that you're handling it completely above board, that's great, but when we put safety measures in place, we're not dependent on a person to do the right thing. We're dependent on making sure there's no conflict.
Well, that's why these two people hire their own people. I had nothing to do with the hiring of who they hire or employ or contract with. I'll give you an example. Brian's predecessor, I was actually at a court observation for a judge, giving that judge as a new judge tips on their courtroom management style. I saw a parent counsel that I thought was horrific. If I was that parent counsel director, I would have fired that parent counsel. I then contacted the parent counsel director and said, I'm filing a complaint. Would you please look into this? They did. They chose to keep that person on, and they did a program or a plan with that person. I have no involvement with the hiring of who they keep.
Okay, I didn't intend to keep harping on this because I intended to defer to a couple of people who want to ask questions. But it would be proper for you or for a judge to file a complaint against a parent counsel or anyone else who's not doing their job properly. If you have no say-so over the person, over the employee or the person who employs them, there's no potential conflict, and that you're doing exactly what you ought to be doing. But if you have a say-so over the person who hires them, even though you may not personally get involved, then I think that's an obvious potential conflict. But you're saying, I tell Mr. Welch and I tell Ms. Robinette to run their part and do their thing, but nevertheless, they answer to you. Again, I think the Vincent report and the ABA thought differently about it. But anyway, Representative.
Actually, the ABA has said there's no conflict. We had the ABA Parent Council Committee on our Supreme Court committee, and they said there was no conflict. Now, we deal with the legal conflict.
Okay, I don't have a report in front of me from ABA, but I mean, we have read the words from ABA more than once on this committee that said that there was a conflict, so we'll...
just have to agree to disagree on that one.
Well, we will actually go back and document that one of us is right or wrong. And I have no problem apologizing if it's me. Representative Birch.